So, yeah, welcome everyone to Thursday meditation. We were just chatting about the very serious look that you often see on the faces of, or the way we often think of spiritual people or gurus or deities and so forth. And unfortunately, that's corroborated by a lot of the images that we see of them. Um, but one lama that I used to study with, someone would say something about, oh yes, the Buddha looking so serious, and the lama said, yeah, but that was him while he was, having his picture taken. So he was posing for the formal portrait.
Yes.
And as a matter of fact, I want to show you a recent addition to my little altar here. Some of you may be familiar with this face.
No.
Okay, that's Avatar Meher Baba, who is famous for saying, "Don't worry, be happy."
Oh.
You probably heard that song, and
Yeah.
the song actually was taken from his
That.
saying.
Yeah.
That was the essence of his message as a spiritual teacher. And in fact, in India, there are these people called um, musts. Must. It's spelled Masts, and they're known as the God intoxicated ones. They're people who apparently had some very high spiritual experiences, but kind of got like stuck in samadhi and we're having trouble navigating in the material world. And a lot of the work that Meher Baba did was with these musts. He would find them and work with them and help them kind of find their way into how to, okay, without losing your samadhi, how you can,
Yeah.
how you can stay planted in the infinite and still deal with the finite. Um, but what's interesting was he did it all without talking. He had taken early on in his career, he took a vow of silence, and he didn't talk for something like 50 or 60 years. So all of his guiding of these people was just done, you know, with that smiling face and those eyes. So, so as the saying goes, there is no evidence that life is that serious.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me mute you all for now. And let me see who all is here. Okay, everyone has been here before, right? Good. Okay, good. Okay, so let's start by sitting up comfortably. Check out the body. See what wants to be twisted or stretched, curled or arched. So let's start with we've done this a couple of times, the three seed syllables of Tibetan Buddhist practice. Um, some of you will remember they're Om, Ah, Hum. Okay, so Om, O-M, more or less. Um, Ah, A-H, more or less. And Hung, H-U, or let's say H-O-O-N-G, more or less. But on all of these, what you want to do is just dwell on take a nice deep breath, and like on the Om, don't be in a hurry to put your lips together. Let it vibrate in your skull until the very end. Om. Okay. And as always, with when we use mantra in this way, it's you take a nice long deep breath, completely fill up, so that we can really have a nice long dwelling on the mantra as it goes out. Not because we're trying to win a duration contest, but so that we can get the opposite, so we can forget about time, just get lost in the sound, lost timelessly in the sound. So breathing in. And there always should be an effortlessness of its releasing sound. It's not pushing, it's not trying. We're giving the body and the mind the cue for the effortlessness of meditation. It's just, if you fill up with air and then set your vocal apparatus to make a sound, just release it. It goes out by itself. And just enjoy it going out omnidirectionally, effortlessly. So now, ah. And hum. Now we just let the breath be however it is, taking care of itself. We let everything be however it is, taking care of itself. Every fresh new moment of experiencing unfolds all by itself. Doesn't need us to help it. Just here to receive it, to experience it, to accept it. Open. Mind open, heart open, body open. Everything just naturally wide open. All the little pores of the body, all the little follicles, like a sponge with a billion tiny holes. Just wide open to the simple, self-arising experience of each moment, just as it is. Each moment of fresh, new, spontaneous experience might contain sound, passing of the airplane, the bubbling of the fountain, whatever's there. Might contain sensations, thoughts, feelings, all fine, all perfect. All not in our domain of control. We're just here to accept, receive. If there's a dog barking, how wonderful that we're alive and aware to hear a dog barking. Or having thoughts, and then maybe you're having thoughts about what to do about the thoughts. And the answer is, of course, don't worry about the thoughts, just let them come and go. But how wonderful that we're alive and awake to have thoughts. As they say, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. And life is a gift horse. Awareness is a gift horse. So nothing for us to do but relax back into this fresh, spontaneous awareness. To enjoy the gift. Not especially focusing on anything that comes up. Neither to try to hold on to it, which doesn't work anyway, or try to get rid of it, which doesn't work anyway. Just remain naturally wide open, like a house with all the doors and windows wide open, just letting the breeze blow through. Nothing to achieve, no way to achieve it. We're already here being, we're already aware. Awareness is already, always already boundless, shapeless, colorless, boundless, unless you can find a shape or a color or a boundary to it. But I don't think you can. So nothing to do but rest enjoy, relax back into the boundlessness, the awareness, the true I. Anytime you find yourself resisting something or holding on to something or pursuing something, you just relax your grip on it. Nothing else. Don't try to do anything else about it. Just relax your grip and relax back into the self. Relax back into the boundless openness of awareness, which you never have to look for. It's always right here. And take a few minutes to ease out gently before you open the eyes. Okay, how's everybody doing? Everybody good? Good. So, what are your questions or comments today? Yes, Susie.
I experience relaxing grip. It gives a space, but it's puzzled because when I feel unsettled, uncomfortable feeling, as a human nature, would like to identify as something problem and would like to figure out the solution or answer. So it seems like just relax in a grip. It's challenging.
I'm sorry, say again. To relax, what was the next thing you said?
Relaxing a grip is very challenging.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. And that's why we practice. That's why we keep doing this, because you've had a lifetime of gripping. You've practiced that, right? Where's my prompt? We've all practiced doing this, right? Just think over your lifetime, how many total woman hours have you spent doing this in various ways with the body, with the mind, with the emotions, right? We've all logged thousands of hours doing this, right? So we need to do a little bit of catch up, right? So we need to log some hours sitting in meditation, and when we realize we're doing this, we relax the grip. Now, when you say it's challenging, that's an interesting word. It's not. I want you to take a very close look at that. When you say it's challenging, does that mean, oh, it's difficult? It takes some effort. to do that?
I mean, it's not that.
Stay with yes or no for
Yeah,
now.
sure.
Stay with yes or no for now. Does it take effort to do this?
Yes, but more than take effort, it's even I experience it give us space,
Right?
but same time, still I'm not convinced when I feel discomfort of the feeling or unsettled feeling.
Right?
Still have deep conviction. I should figure out what's the cause of the problem and try
Right,
to find a solution.
right. Okay, so that's what comes up. That's what
Mm-hmm.
comes up. We have no
Mm-hmm.
control over what comes up. And
Mm-hmm.
that comes up to a greater or lesser degree. That comes up for everyone, right? You're in the boat with 7 billion other people here. Okay? Um, but see, the reason I'm trying to pin you down on this thing a little bit, because there's two different things, and we have a tendency to mix them up. One is one is it well, let's take the thing that you just said, which is okay, maybe we start to relax the grip, but then we have the thought, oh, there's really something wrong, I have to do something about it. I have to figure this out. Okay? The other thing is the actual doing of this, the relaxing. Someone asked one of my teachers, but how do you do that? How do you let, he was using the phrase let go. Um, you know, I prefer to say relax your grip because we've talked about that before. But someone said, but how do you let go? And he said, you know how to let go. He said, how do you let go of a hot potato? Right? We all know how to do that. If I put a hot potato in your hand, you'd immediately do that. So you do the same thing with the mind body, right? That's mind hyphen body, which are connected, right? Now, that's your entire job. That's your entire job description. Relax your grip. Relax the grip of the mind body on whatever it tends to be tightening around, right? Now, whatever happens in the next moment, totally out of our control. Maybe what happens is we have the thought, oh yeah, but what about blah, 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 blah. That's just a thought coming. We have, right? If we find ourselves tightening up again around that, what do? We know, relax the grip again. Or maybe we get this feeling of, as you say, uneasiness coming up in the body, and we find ourselves tightening around that. What do? Relax our grip on that. If we're not gripping it, if it's just something that's there, okay, the thought's there, then okay, it's there. It's like any other thought. The feeling's there. It's like any other feeling. But the difference is, and we don't try to push away the thought, we don't try to push away the feeling, but we do not buy into it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
So simple.
We have a winner. Okay. We found
Your teaching is so simple and core of the matter.
uh,
Again.
we found the I went back into my database. I pulled out a phrase. This is from one of my teachers. I pulled out the phrase you needed to hear. This is what we do. Okay, just don't buy into it. It's just a thought. It's just blah blah blah. It's like it's in a foreign language. Thoughts there? Fine. Hi, thought. Whatever. Right? Whatever. Good. You're you're all taken care of now, right? Okay. But but just know that this stuff will come, and just know, oh, it's just that. It's just that thought coming. It's this long-standing habit. Another thing that you can do is you make up your mind when you sit down. Um, this is a special time. In a way, it's completely ordinary. We're just sitting there having completely ordinary awareness, right? But it's also special because there is a decision that we make at the beginning, right? And the decision is, okay, for the next while I'm sitting here, for the next, 15 minutes or 20, 30 minutes, whatever it is. Um, I don't act on anything. I don't make any decisions. I don't buy into anything. Whatever comes or goes, it comes and goes. Fine. If there's something I need to do, if there's something I need to figure out, if these things are really problems that need solutions, they'll still be there when I open my eyes. They'll be waiting for me, right? And then I'd take care of it then. Okay? So it's very helpful to consciously, make that commitment at the beginning, right? The archetype for this is the story of the Buddha, of course, sitting under the Bodhi tree for 7 weeks, 49 days and nights, and with the vow, I'm not going to be moved. I'm not going to move from this spot until I'm till I'm opened up, till I'm straightened out, till I'm realized, enlightened. Okay? Now, so we think of that as like not going to be physically moved, but it also, and that also is good when you sit to meditate for not 49 days probably, but for 20 minutes or something. Okay, I'm going to stay in my spot. I might all suddenly think, oh, I should go send this email, send the email in 20 minutes. All right? But it's also mentally and emotionally not being moved, not pursuing, and the story, I'm sure you've heard the story before, Susie, that Lord Mara, who is symbolically, he's like the ego, and he's sort of like the devil in Buddhism. It's interesting, the devil there is ego, right, is the sense of small selfness. Realizes, uh-oh, this guy's about to get out of my grip. This guy's about to get enlightened. He's going to be liberated from ego. I can't let that happen. So what he does is he generates all these hallucinations for the Buddha. He's not the Buddha yet. Buddha means awakened. He's Gautama. So Mara sends, like, I think it's 100,000 fearsome warriors, all wielding all these fearsome weapons, mounted on elephants, blowing on their conch shells, making these fearsome battle cries to attack him, and sending flaming arrows at him to try to get him to move. Now, what all that represents is that's what you experience in your meditation, Susie. That's all those thoughts. Oh, what about this one? Those are all the warriors on their elephants with the flaming arrows, right? Okay. But Gautama, being wise, A, does not leave his spot. He doesn't run away from the warriors because it's all in his head. It's all hallucination. B, doesn't try to oppose them. What he does is very beautiful. As the arrows are coming toward him in the air, he transforms them into flowers. Okay? Okay?
Yeah, all in my head.
Yeah. It's all, just know that it's all in your head. And the way we transform it into flowers, we don't have to really visualize, oh, this becomes a flower. But it's really, that's an attitude. Oh, hello, old friend. You just love everything. You just love it. That's what that means. You just, oh, hello, yes, oh, here's that thing again, fine. I love you. That means I don't have to do anything about you. I don't have to push you away. I don't have to buy into you. Right? Right. Yeah. Oh, and then when the warriors don't get the Buddha to move, the Lord Mara says, okay, I got to try a different tactic here. And he has 3 beautiful daughters. So he has them dance naked in front of the Gautama and say, come on, big boy, come on here. So this is showing, and again, it's all psychological. It's all about, all these stories are about us. They're about our own unfolding enlightenment experience. So we can have the fearsome warrior thoughts, oh, this is a problem, and then also the seductive thoughts, oh, I want to do this. Oh, let me just, okay, I know that I'm dwelling on, finally I'm out of quarantine, I'm going to get on the plane and go to Hawaii, oh, it'll be so nice. And then, okay, just relax your grip on that. Relax back into yourself, right? Those are Those are the naked dancing girls, right? Um, yeah. Okay.
It's interesting because when I have heard the story, not moving, it's so rigid, but actually it's relaxing, it's natural meditation, you know?
Yeah. Right. 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 And but it's so see it's so interesting to see it's finding our unexamined assumptions. Right? Here's an unexamined assumption. Oh, not moving equals rigid. No one ever said that. Doesn't say in the books, and he sat rigidly under the tree. We added that. We added, and the part of us that added that, that's Lord Mara. That's Lord Mara. That's the ego that says, oh, if you're going to be unmoving, you have to be rigid. Why? Because Lord Mara is clever. Lord Mara knows, right? Your ego knows that if you try to sit and be rigid, you'll get tired of it and you'll stop. Right? See, the ego has all these stratagems because remember, Lord Mara doesn't want anyone to escape his grip. Your ego, your ego is fighting for its life. You've got the ego on the ropes now. You know that expression on the ropes, in boxing, when you box the guy into the corner, he's against the ropes. The fact that you're showing up to these sessions, you're sitting down meditating every day, you've got the ego on the ropes. And the ego is going to fight back, is going to fight dirty, right?
It's like a Japanese sword that relax in the grip.
Yeah. Right. Do you do that? Have you taken the Iaido classes with Joseph? Yeah.
No,
Yeah. But you know enough about it that it's not about rigid. You'll just get
yeah,
exhausted. It's complete relaxation. I used to train in that same dojo. I used to do Aikido. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. When I would get rigid and try to throw the person, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And then I would just relax, drop everything to the center, and just move. And then, they'd fly across the room. So it's bringing that into our life. The real Aikido, the real Iaido is life, right? Everything we do is that cut of the sword, right? Right? And that's what these practices are for. First, we get it while we're on the mat, with the sword or whatever, or sitting on the cushion with the meditation. And it's all about integrating it. More and more, it gets integrated into everything we do, interacting with people, doing work, doing play, all of that. How relaxed can your grip on the sword be, but still powerful, still able to direct it, right? That's where it gets really interesting. For me, it's writing. That's what I do. Writing the sentence, writing this paragraph, being how open and flexible and can I be in letting the paragraph or the sentence flow, and how much directing it. It never stops being interesting. It gets more and more interesting, actually. Good. Good. Thank you, Susie. Okay, what else?
I've got a question, Dean. Of course, you don't have my face, but I've got a question. Irene,
Hi, Irene.
how you doing?
Good.
Um, to become enlightened, I'm not as educated in this as everybody else is.
Mm-hmm.
To become enlightened,
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'll be meditating and I'll get these thoughts and they just flow like a river, they just disappear, and that's fine. But now we're not supposed to be thinking, we're not supposed to be concentrating or being distracted. All these things seem to distract.
Wait, who said that? Who said we're not supposed to be thinking? We're not
I
supposed to
don't
be.
know. That's the idea that if you
Wait,
go into meditation and you don't see anything and you go into this coma-like state, okay, let's put it that way. You're aware, but you're not really aware. you know,
Okay, yeah.
and there's no thinking involved. There's no stopping. There's no, it's just free.
It is free. It is free. It is free. And because it's free, it's fine that there are thoughts there.
Okay.
See, if you're trying to push away thoughts, it's because you're not free. You have to be able to be free in the face of thoughts.
Okay. So it's okay to have thoughts.
Yes, it's okay to have thoughts.
Okay.
It's you have to have thoughts. If you don't have thoughts, you won't get anything out of meditation.
Oh,
If
okay.
you don't, I really want you to hear this. If you don't have thoughts, you will not getting you'll be in a coma-like state. And it's not a coma-like state. You didn't hear that from me,
No,
and I guarantee you, you didn't hear that from Mingyu Rinpoche or any other
no,
teacher.
I didn't. It's just that it's just I don't know, it's just my thoughts about meditation, I guess.
Exactly. And what I want you to do is throw away your thoughts about meditation.
You know,
Okay? Because this is exactly what I was just saying to Susie about unexamined assumptions. That's
right,
an that's an assumption that you formed. It's not completely unreasonable. It's very easy. If we just get about we take the things that you have heard from, you know, teachers who know
right,
something about what they're talking about, and you just get a half an inch off. And
right,
then you could come up with like, oh, we're not supposed to have thoughts. We're supposed to be like in a coma or whatever. And
right.
and that half an inch off is completely wrong. So here's the deal: the thoughts flow in, the thoughts flow out. That's
Right,
how it is. That's how it's always going to be. That coma-like state. Even if we were trying to achieve that, you'll never achieve it. I guarantee you.
right,
So you may as well forget about it anyway. The
right.
good news is that's not what it's about. The good news is, look, what color is the walls in the room where you're sitting right now?
Kind of like a light beige.
Light beige. Okay.
Right now, the whole room went dark because the sun went away and my TV went off, so it's
Okay.
all black.
Okay, good. Good. Now, if the Buddha was sitting there in the room next to you,
Right.
or the Buddha or Meher Baba with his big
No,
wonderful
I brought
smile.
in people saying,
Isn't that great? Okay, and okay, let's stick with Meher Baba for a minute. If Meher Baba was sitting there in the room with you,
oh my,
do you think he would say, you know, this is pretty nice sitting here in the room, except I hate those beige walls. If only those walls were blue or red, then I would be at peace. Or is he going to be at peace with the walls just the way they are?
he's going to be okay.
That's right. He's going to be okay. And he's going to be okay whether it's gotten dark because it's evening or it's
Right.
light because it's morning, right? You know that. You keep saying, well, you're not so educated in this. You don't need any education to know this. You
Okay.
you you know it instinctively. What does it mean? When you're a Buddha, you're at peace with what's there.
Oh, I see. Oh,
Yes, there we go. You
okay,
see.
that clear. Okay.
Now, don't forget that. When you just said, "Oh, I see," don't forget that, and that's what you take into meditation. I'm at peace with whatever's there. There's thoughts, so thoughts. Feelings, so feelings. The thoughts went away, fine. The feelings went away. Now here comes the next one. Here comes the next one. You know,
Right.
when my daughter was little, we were still living out in New Jersey. We,
Mhm.
we came out to California. I think she was about 3 or 4. We went to Disneyland, and at the end of the day, at closing, the last thing they always have at Disneyland, the electrical parade. All the
Oh,
floats with all right,
oh,
the lights and they're playing all the music and all that, and
those
then
dolls on the
in the
balls.
biggest, say it again.
Those dolls on those balls scared my daughter something awful.
Right. Okay.
He turned
Well,
around and screamed.
well, my daughter loved it, and of course, on the last float, the biggest float, there is Mickey Mouse, who's like
Right.
the grand marshal of the whole parade, and my little daughter goes, Mickey, I love Mickey. And she starts running toward the float to try to climb up on the float
Oh,
and
wow.
hug Mickey. We had to pull her back.
Oh, man.
So think of whatever comes along. Once you close your eyes in meditation, whatever comes along, think of it, it's like the electrical parade.
Oh, okay.
Okay? There's two wrong things you can do about the electrical parade and one right thing. One wrong thing would be to say, oh, I got to stop this, right? I got to stop these thoughts. I got to stop these feelings. I'm supposed to be in a coma-like state without thoughts. Or, Susie's little, thing before, oh, these feelings, I have to do something about that. No, actually, no, I'll get back to Susie's thing in a second. She's the second wrong thing. So the first wrong thing, I got to stop this parade. So that's, like you try to run out in front of the parade and go stop. That doesn't
Right.
work. You'll get run over.
Right.
Okay? The second thing you do wrong is, what Susie was saying, which is buying into the thoughts, thinking that they're real, taking them seriously. And that's jumping on the float. That's what my daughter was trying to do,
Mm,
right?
okay.
Whether it's, oh, I love Mickey, or, oh, I'm really concerned about this problem that, I'm trying to solve, it's jumping on the float,
Okay.
right? So that's the two wrong things. Try to stop the parade, to buy into the parade, try to jump aboard. The right thing is just stand there and watch the parade go by and enjoy it. And know
Right.
it's just a parade.
Right.
Okay? And the more you do that, just keep sitting down every day, letting the thoughts come and go, letting the emotion, even to say let them come and go, they're going to come and go no matter what
Right.
we. And more, then what happens is we just find ourselves relaxing back into being the awareness, being the experiencer, being the silence, which is the witness of all our thoughts, all our emotions, all our sensory experiences. That silent witness that's been the witness all our lives.
Hmm.
It's not being created in meditation, but by just taking this attitude of, oh, everything's just a parade, we keep relaxing back. Let the parade come and go as you relax back into the self, relax back into this silent, observing awareness. And the more we do that, the more we find that's where the freedom is. The freedom is in letting things come and go.
Oh, okay.
Not in requiring the thoughts not be there, just like that would be requiring the room to be painted red.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Good. Good, good, good.
Good. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Okay. What else we got tonight? Yes, Mara, please.
Everybody, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So what you were saying, Dean, about sitting in awareness
Mm-hmm.
makes me think of something I've been wrestling with. There's probably an unexamined assumption here,
Right.
but I'm still thinking a lot about,
I need a car like the Ghostbusters. I need a thing, a logo or a car or something. Assumption Busters.
yeah, please, please. So bust away.
Who you
Feel
gonna who you gonna call?
right.
Okay.
So I'm still thinking a lot about to what extent I should work toward integrating qualities of the meditative state
Mm-hmm.
in my everyday life.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking specifically now about sitting in awareness, right? I get that as a goal when I'm meditating,
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
In my everyday life, though, I have tended, here's probably the unexamined assumption, I have tended to associate awareness, hyper awareness, maybe there's this distinction, right? Like, watching myself in conversation. And that is not being immersed in an activity, not being immersed in a conversation, not being immersed in work, like all those, that kind of immersion I associate with a very elevated state, a state I'd like to be in a lot,
Mm-hmm.
with joy.
Mm-hmm.
Is
Yep.
there, I it's hitting me as a contradiction. You'll probably explain that it's not, but I need help with
Right. Good, good, good. This is exactly what, yeah, this is, it's so great. It's so great because, because first of all, it's great because you bring your questions up. Second, you're starting to realize you've done this a few times now and you've seen other people do it and you realize that when it looks like a contradiction, we're going to ultimately find out it's not. We still have to go through this to find out what it is, but in the ultimate truth, the ultimate reality, there can't be contradictions because it just is. It's just isness, right?
that.
Right? It's someone else phrased it as there are no paradoxes into the eye of God.
Huh.
The paradoxes, contradictions only appear that way to us. They're provisional on the way there. Okay, now, first of all, let's do a tiny little tweak in the language that you're using to describe what we're doing in meditation. Okay? It's tiny, but I think you'll see it's very important. The language they use, and it's language that I use sometimes, it's a little bit more entry level language, but now you need a little bit more advanced language. And that language you're using is sitting in awareness, right? And that's really a useful expression up to a point because, well, you see, it's gotten you this far. And it's, instead of, okay, we're sitting in watching the movie, or we're sitting in being wrapped up in this, or we're sitting in worrying about this, or sitting and enjoying that, we're sitting in awareness, like soaking in the warm tub, right? It's great. Now, when we sit in awareness for a little while, and we consider these things for a little while, we start to realize, wait, that language is not quite right. Because who is sitting in awareness? Well, I. Well, what is I? Is I a name, Dean or Mara? Is I a body? No, I experience the name. I hear the name. I see the body, or at least I see some representation of it in the mirror or on the screen. Right? Is it all my, memories of the past? No, those are things I experience. And, so we go, okay, I'm not this, I'm not this, I'm not this. We eliminate everything. We eliminate all the things that we're aware of. And then we only have one thing left, which is awareness itself.
Okay.
Okay? Okay? So once we realize that the word I equals awareness, right? And everything else we might have identified with is some object of awareness, something we provisionally but ultimately falsely identified with, right? I is awareness. So then if we say, okay, take that, plug that back into the original equation, I am sitting in awareness. Now that means awareness is sitting in awareness. There's some redundancy there. So this is where we have to tweak the language and we realize, no, I'm sitting as awareness. I'm sitting as awareness, not resting in awareness. I am resting as awareness. Okay. Now, can you see why I might not use that language for when I'm dealing with a beginner? That might be a little too subtle for them, right? And it's just, okay, I think it was Oscar Wilde said, sometimes an ounce of inaccuracy saves a ton of explanation. So we start with a slightly inaccurate thing. We rest in awareness. But now you've pushed this to where, no, we gotta sharpen up the language. We rest as awareness. Okay? Now, so what we've done is we've eliminated the false duality. Right? Now look at what that does for us when we go back into activity. It's no longer a choice between sitting in awareness in meditation and now sitting in all the other experiences of the world. Since I've been sitting as awareness, realizing myself to be awareness, that's the same I that is now watching the movie, engaging in conversations, going to work, and so on and so forth. Okay. Now I know I haven't completely solved your problem yet, but we're on our, can you see we're on our way here? Okay. Now, the second thing is what you're describing of kind of seeing yourself, maybe kind of hyper awareness of yourself in situations and so forth. It's what people using common language would call self-consciousness.
Yeah.
Okay? Right. In garden variety self-consciousness. Now, also, you'll see in spiritual literature, you'll see the word usually with self with a capital S, self-consciousness used to mean enlightenment. But can you see these are two very different things, right? What people normally call self-consciousness is you're not being conscious of the self.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
There it is.
Yeah.
See, you're
Right.
being conscious of the body, conscious of your posture, conscious of the speech that's coming out of you, of your thoughts, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That makes sense. Yes. Okay.
Now, the more you acclimated you become to resting as awareness in meditation and finding this very naturally spilling over into your activity, the more you find. I remember, I had the great, and you're a teacher, right?
Yes.
Right?
I was a teacher for
Well,
20 years.
okay. So I did it for 33 years and it was great. I'd get up in the morning and I would meditate
Yeah.
and we're taking the dog out.
Well, I just realized my computer's about to die.
Oh,
I have to
oh,
plug it
okay.
in. I don't want to lose you during this.
Okay. Okay. Um, so yeah, so I had the great pleasure in my teaching days, my school teaching days. I'd get up in the morning and I'd do my meditation. And then I'd go and I'd be in the classroom. I'd be sitting on the desk. God, we're getting the tour of everybody's joint tonight.
Okay.
That's a nice house.
Thanks. Okay, I got you plugged in.
Okay.
Okay.
I feel much better now. Um,
Yeah, me too.
so then, I'd be in the classroom. I'd be sitting on my desk talking with the kids. We're talking about Chaucer. We're talking about Shakespeare. We're talking about J.D. Salinger, whatever. And over here to my left, there was a door to the hallway with a window set in it. A lot of classrooms have that. And once in a while, I would look over and I would see, quote unquote, my reflection in the
Right.
window. What I would see was the reflection of this body with this mouth going and these words coming out of it.
Right.
And I kind of go, to myself. I wouldn't say this to the kids because they'd think I was nuts. I kind of go, God, is that thing still hanging around here?
Yeah, I would call that self-consciousness. But you,
No, exactly. No, this is kind of an experience of burgeoning awakening. This is different. This is this that's just my point. My point is that I was losing the usual fixation on body so that I was surprised to see that it's still there. Is the opposite of that small s self-consciousness.
because you needed to be reminded of your body and
Yeah,
see.
yeah, because I'm just so into the flow of the conversation and
Oh, okay.
you got it. Okay. It's being in the zone, right? You've experienced being in the zone with something, with your teaching or your, playing music or running or gardening or something, where you're in the zone where the activity just flows. It's like no one's doing it. And whenever that happens, there's kind of a weightlessness to everything,
So that's
right?
becoming awareness.
Say it again.
Becoming awareness.
That's you. That's you realizing that you are awareness. You've always been nothing but awareness. But it's you becoming free of the illusion that you were something other than awareness. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Um, okay. So you know what it's like. If you've had that taste of being in the zone with anything, that's pretty much more and more what life becomes. That flow, that weightlessness, and you notice when you're in the zone, you don't have to think, right? That's when teaching's really a joy, right? When you've done it for a little while and you don't have to think, you don't make an outline anymore. You know, you can go into the classroom with the kids and, oh man, it's such a pleasure, it's such a joy. It just there's like nothing to do and no one to do it. Okay? And then you think, boy, wouldn't it be nice if it was always like that? So the good news is you're on your way to it being always like that. Not only with teaching, but everything. It's just being in the zone with life, right? And can you see how kind of opposite that is of the sort of, garden variety self-consciousness you were talking about? It's complete loss of that. And so with that comes a kind of confidence. We think of self-confident. That's another one of these words, the garden variety understanding of self-confidence. Another unexamined assumption is it's like, someone who's all full up with all these notions about okay, I'm really good and I'm really smart and and I can, right, and that's kind of a it's okay. It worked. It's a lesser variety of self-confidence. The best is self-confidence with a capital S. You don't worry about am I smart enough? Am I yeah, kind of whatever happens is going to be fine.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
The
That's
self
that beautiful thing in the Gospels where Jesus says, "Consider the lilies of the field. They toil not, right? The lilies of the field, just how naturally they grow. They don't worry about anything. They don't get up and go to work. They don't plan how they're going to grow. That's just that beautiful naturalness that he's saying that's how to be. Be like the lilies of the field.
okay. Thank you.
Okay, good. Okay, Lynn, did you wanted to ask or say about something? You have to unmute.
Um,
There you are.
yeah, I'm new to meditation.
You've been saying that for about a year now, so you.
Well, but I find that I wasn't anywhere. I don't know if it's I was just I just I was just nowhere during that quiet time. And then I came to a point where I felt that you were going to probably ring the bell.
Mhm.
But but looking back on it, I had no thoughts. I I wasn't really anywhere. And
Mhm.
when it wasn't a state of being in a coma, it was just I was just I was so I don't know whether that becomes a coma state or I wasn't really
No comas.
okay.
No comas. No, no. You were no. This is called transcendence. This is the fourth. This is called Turiya, the fourth state. What do we have here? Seven. Okay. Let me give
Yeah,
you.
we don't have a lot of time, so
No, we're
just
fine. We're fine. I've got all this stuff. I've got the 7-minute version. I got the hour version. Honey, you're dealing with a professional. Come on. All
well,
right.
yeah, I know that.
Okay. So, um, usually, I don't want to say normally, I don't want to say usually, the way most people live their lives, there's 3 states of consciousness in the course of a day: waking, sleeping, dreaming, or REM sleep, right? Physiologically, they're distinct, right? Different brainwave patterns, different everything. And experientially, they're distinct. The waking state, the mind is aware and it's active, right? It's aware and it's active. Like the screen is turned on and there's activity, there's a movie playing on the screen. Okay? Sleep state, the mind is not aware and not active. The screen is turned off, and obviously there can be no movie. Dream state, the mind is not really aware, but somehow it's kind of active. So it's kind of, the screen is kind of half lit and there's some confused, weirdness going on the screen. So it's still active. Now, can you see by implication there's a fourth possible state? A state where the screen is on, it's lit. It's not in a coma, but there's no movie, just pure light of the screen, right? We're aware, the mind is aware, but not active.
I had no thoughts.
Yeah, no thoughts. Yeah, that can happen. That can happen. That can happen. Now, very important question, and I know what your answer is going to be, but I need to ask this for everyone. Did your lack of thoughts happen because you tried to not have thoughts? Absolutely not. Right. We knew the answer. If you tried to have thoughts, you would just get more and more embroiled in thinking about how much work it is trying to suppress thoughts. This can only happen spontaneously. Once in a while, the mind settles down into this state where it's just really inactive and yet awake. As you say, not asleep, not in a coma. The only way to explain it is this fourth situation, which, because we're generally not used to it before, a lot of people when they experience what you did, they'll say, God, I think I was asleep, but I'm not sure, because because now here's the thing. Everyone's looking for peace, right? Everyone say, oh, I want peace of mind. You get peace of mind for 6, 7, 8 hours every night. Right? But because the mind is conked out, we don't get to experience the peace. Right? Because the mind is non-active, but it's also non-aware. Right? It's like, oh, you went to Hawaii for your 2-week vacation. How was it? I don't know. I was in a coma at the time. Right? That's not a very good vacation. So we go, wouldn't it be nice if we could be in this state of complete peace where the mind is at rest, but without conking out? So that's the fourth state, that turiya. Turiya literally means the fourth one. So the ancient yogis who labeled these things were thinking about this stuff very systematically, right? So, and the fact of the matter is that whenever we meditate, if we're meditating in this natural kind of way, the mind is always, it dips its toe into turiya a little bit. Just in your case, you just, once in a while it happens, we just go completely in. Now, for other people hearing this, you're going, oh man, but I keep having thoughts. Does that mean I'm not getting the turiya like that? No, what happens is then more and more, as the mind becomes familiar with that place of peace, with that boundlessness of awareness. Because right when it's at rest, there's no boundaries unless the mind is active. Right? The mind generates the boundaries. It generates the sense of space, right? That's why you said, it was so beautiful, I was nowhere. You were nowhere because there's no time or space until the mind becomes active to generate time and space. Okay? As Rupert Spira says, eternity is, time is what eternity looks like when it's filtered through the mind. Right? And space is what infinity looks like when it's filtered through the mind, right? Through the active thinking mind. So when the mind is still aware but not active, there's no time, there's no space. You're nowhere and you're no time. right? But you're not annihilated. But you're not annihilated. Okay, I'm going to jump ahead for 1 second here, and
No, that's okay.
I'm not going to justify, I'm not going to try to explain all this, but just because, Lynn, I know that, you know, you've done all this work with dying people, I'm just going to say, this is what happens when you die. Okay? There's no annihilation. Time goes away, space goes away. All the stuff you thought you were, like the body and the history and all that, that goes away, but you do not go away because you are awareness, you're beyond time, you're beyond space. Don't take my word for it, but I'm just saying. And that, and that's what Buddha and Jesus and Shankara and, you know, all the other big shots say. And I have a feeling they know what they're talking about. But what happens is then more and more we become familiar with that place, familiar with the true self. And then more and more in awareness, it doesn't matter whether we stop thinking or not. More and more we can think, we can still be there in that boundlessness, in that place beyond time and space, while having thoughts. So that's important also for that to happen.
Okay.
And I know when you first have that, that sounds like a contradiction. How can I be in this place beyond thought and simultaneously have thoughts? It more, I mean, before you had this experience today, you would have said, how can I be aware and how can my mind be aware and yet not active? Right? But now you know that's possible. Then the next thing is to be in that place and yet the mind is active, yet you're still in the place of non-active. The mind can be dealing with all this finite stuff without losing the apprehension of infinity, of the transcendent. And that's important because that's cultivating the ability to be then out walking around, dealing with time and space out here where it gets more complicated than just having a couple of thoughts, and yet we're still in the silence. We're still in that place. We still are what we're going to be when we die, which is exactly what we've been all along.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Some beautiful questions tonight. So, may all beings swiftly notice that which they've been all along and notice that all their problems were just some misunderstanding. And may peace prevail everywhere. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dean.
Have fun. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy being being.